Welcome to Ninerology. I'm your host, Alan, and we're here to talk about the number one running back in the league, the best offensive asset for the 49ers, newlywed Christian McCaffrey, and how the 49ers' main goal this year is to keep him healthy. Keep Christian McCaffrey healthy. Christian McCaffrey does so much for this 49ers offense. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. He hides a lot of the offensive line's deficiencies. The 49ers are not known for having a great offensive line. Outside of Trent Williams, the rest of the 49ers offensive line, many would be backups on other teams, especially that right side. What Christian McCaffrey does with his vision, the way he runs the ball, the way he runs his routes out of the backfield, he could line up in the slot, just his vision, how he's helped Brock Purdy become the quarterback that he is, what he does for the receivers on the outside. You have to account for Christian McCaffrey on every single play. Kyle Shanahan has a quote that Christian McCaffrey is the best player without the ball that he's ever seen because he does every play 100% whether he has the ball or doesn't have the ball. When he's faking it, he's running that thing 100% full go. When he's blocking in the backfield, it doesn't matter if it's a 300-pound defensive lineman. He's taking on that lineman. He's taking on those linebackers. He never wants to leave the game. That's the competitor that he is. But the 49ers need to protect their most valuable asset. Yes, he just got paid, but let's take a look at some of the numbers over the past 2 years. Now, granted, 2022, he wasn't with the 49ers the entire year. He was with Carolina for the first half and was traded to the 49ers during the trade deadline. And let's break this down. In 2022, he had 244 rushing attempts. He had 85 catches, which equals 329 touches. Then you include the playoffs, which was an additional 52 because he had 40 rushing attempts and then 12 catches as well. That's 381 touches in the year 2022. Then you go to last year, and he touched the ball even more. 272 rushes during the regular season, 67 receptions. That's 339 touches, not including the playoffs. That was up another 10 from the year before. Then you include the playoffs. And in the playoffs, he ended up having an additional 69 touches, 50 rushing attempts, 19 catches, which equals 408 touches this last year. That's an insane number. And what's even more amazing is how healthy he's been able to stay throughout his tenure here. Now, he is getting up there in age for a running back. He just turned 28, so we know that's not that old. But when it comes to running back years, that's when you begin to see running backs slowly start to decline. Now, Christian McCaffrey, his training regimen means he could defy those odds, but you still need to protect your most valuable asset. Kyle Shanahan was asked by The Athletic about protecting Christian McCaffrey from himself, and this is what he said. We have guys that can run the ball. We have to protect Christian from himself. He doesn't like to ever come out no matter what the situation is, and I do think that's something we could protect him with more. When you are such a threat in the pass game, it's a little bit different, but if he's just taking the wear and tear with 20 carries and stuff every game, and he's definitely good enough to do that, and he has proved he can stay healthy, but you'd like to take some of that off of him and give it to other guys also. That's a big quote because Kyle Shanahan knows what Christian McCaffrey does for his offense. It revolutionizes offense. Kyle Shanahan was already an offensive wizard, but what Christian McCaffrey did was he unlocked certain aspects of the game, which I think Kyle's still trying to figure out as well. He's still learning, like, I can do this with him. I can do this. He can pass the ball. He can run the ball. He can catch the ball. He can be a great gadget guy. He can be a decoy. He can do all of these things. Not only do you have a guy like that in Deebo Samuel, but now you can leave him there, have McCaffrey here, but you got to protect him. You lose McCaffrey, you lose a lot of your competitive edge on your quest for 6. And let's face it, this is one of the last years where the 49ers are all in because there's going to be certain cap implications that are coming up. Now, let's take a look at some of the backup running backs that can help take off this load. For Christian McCaffrey, you have Elijah Mitchell, who has been great when healthy. That's the big question mark for Elijah Mitchell, is when healthy. When he's healthy and he has the ball, he can do some great things. The one running back I really want to see more of is Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason has done amazing with the ball in his hands. You look at his attempts, there's several times where he's averaging 6 or more yards per carry. He doesn't have that wear and tear that Elijah Mitchell or Christian McCaffrey have. I think it's time to use him as that battering ram in the middle. Don't use Christian McCaffrey. Try to save him for the playoffs. In fact, last year, his average per rushing attempt, Christian McCaffrey dropped 1 yard between the regular season and the playoffs. Could it be because of tougher competition? Could it be because of wear and tear? Could be both things. But the reality is you want Christian McCaffrey to be as healthy as possible going into the playoffs, because then you can ride him the entire playoffs and try to get that 6th Lombardi. The 49ers also drafted Isaac Guerendo to add a little bit more of that speed and that ground and pound to their game that they've been missing. Isaac Guerendo reminds us more of that Raheem Mostert type running back. He has that game-breaking speed. And so you can add those other elements that Jordan Mason, Isaac Guerendo. I'd love to see Elijah Mitchell maybe, if he could stay healthy, be more featured. But the reality is he isn't. So he could be a potential player that gets traded, but I'd love to see more Jordan Mason and potentially Isaac Guerendo. We know Kyle Shanahan, when it comes to rookies, they need to earn their merits, earn their badges. But if it can take off wear and tear off of Christian McCaffrey, develop the younger guys so that when the playoffs come, they're not playing like rookies, that is the recipe for success. Kyle Shanahan, you need to protect your most valuable asset in Christian McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey, newly married, you got to stay healthy for your family, but also your 49er family. It's okay to take a few plays off. You are not quitting on your team. Instead, you're playing chess, not checkers. You're playing for the playoffs, keeping yourself healthy. Yes, you still need to win in the regular season, get that number 1 seed. That way you get that second bye, but you need to be healthy. What's the point of getting that first round bye if you're hurt and you can't even play effectively in the playoffs? You need to be healthy. You need to go all in. And part of going all in means trusting your backups that they're going to carry the load and do their part and do their job. And that's how the 49ers can get that 6th Lombardi, is protect their most valuable asset. Don't allow him to be his own worst enemy. Yes, being a competitor is great. He's one of the best competitors, but you got to protect him from himself. And that means allowing other running backs to shine, allowing them to carry that load, allowing them to get those 2-3 yards, kind of grunt work yards up the middle. And they're there for that reason, and they can do that. They don't have the wear and tear McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell have. Let's start seeing more Jordan Mason and Isaac Guerendo. Well, that's all we have for today's episode of Ninerology. Don't forget to like and subscribe. It's the best way to support, and we'll catch you next time.